A certain liar with a penchant for flying type Pokemon has 3 Dragonite on his team, but I'll reserve judgment until after we've done the challenge. Dragonite is a Pokemon we could have run an awful long time ago here on the channel, but I decided to save it until we started doing the Unbound series because I think it's going to benefit from starting at the end of its evolutionary line as opposed to evolving all the way through. Now, I am not a particular fan of Dragonite, mostly because of the sheer number of Thunder Waves that have hit me over the years doing the challenges, but like I said in the intro, I will reserve judgment of Dragonite until we have completed the challenge properly. And then if I don't like it at the end of that, I have all the reason to be complaining about it. But let's now take a look at our stats. We are level 5 with 25 HP. We're holding a berry with Raplia, Thunderwave and Twister. We've got 19 in attack, 16 in specials and the defense, and 14 in speed. So let's now join the live run. The trouble we had with Miltank with Lance's Dragonite made me think it's probably about time, that we take on the Dragonite challenge for ourselves. It's been a very long time coming. Over 3 years we've been doing challenge runs and we have yet to see Dragonite on the channel. It's one of the most iconic Pokemon as well. I've called this one Lies, honouring Lance, and this one I think is going to have a bit of a tricky start, because we have to only use Twister, really, all the way up until Union Cave, and Twister is not a great move. It's an actual damaging Dragon-type move, which is rare in the earlier generations, especially generations 1 and 2, but it is not a good move. It's ostensibly Dragon-type quick attack, so that's what we're going to be running with all the way until we get Swift. Swift is going to be running on our better stat as well. It's going to be running on our physical attack, and then I think once we're through Rival 2 and the Ilex Forest, that is when this particular challenge is really going to start speeding up. We get the punches, and we have fairly decent special attacks, so we're going to have a lot of coverage, and I think we could be in for a fairly good time. We've just got to luck out a little bit at the beginning of this challenge. Now, we're against Rival 1, we're going to have no issues whatsoever. Even Aaliyah doesn't help him there with Scratch. We get through on our first attempt. Let's try and do the good movement here back to New Bark Town. We will name the rival triple ? As we always do. And then we can start heading towards Violet City, where it is going to be time to take on our first gym leader. And as always in Crystal, our first leader will be Falkner. And with that, we have made it to Falkner. He is our first gym leader together. He is a flying type specialist, and he leads with Pidgey. Pidgey's going to use Tackle, it's really the only thing it's got against us. And we're on to Pidgeotto. We're just going to brute force this. 3 Twisters is all it takes to knock out the Pidgeotto. And we get our first badge in a time of 4 minutes and 7 seconds. With that, we can leave Violet City, only coming back for the rare candy. We'll get the call from Elm, we will ignore it as we always do. We'll do a cheeky little PP heal. And then we will grab the egg from the aid, stick it in a box, and we'll be on our merry way towards Azalea Town. And now that we're out of Union Cave at 5 minutes and 57 seconds, we've paused the timer to catch ourselves Spearow. This is going to be Kenya, one of the 4 HM friends we will be catching throughout the course of this challenge, and Kenya is going to be helping us out with Fly. We will then unpause the timer, and we'll start heading into Azalea proper. Now, in the Pokemarts, we are going to buy some repels as normal. We're actually going to buy an extra one, and we're going to buy an escape rope as well. That is so that we can go back into Union Cave and grab ourselves the Swift TM just after we've caught our next 2 HM friends. So at 6:22, the timer gets paused once more, and we are going to get our guaranteed HM friend encounters for the challenge. Now, I explain this every so often, we have forced encounters here for the HM friends. That means we are guaranteed to have our first 2 Pokemon in the forest be Psyduck and Paras. That, combined with pausing the timer, eliminates any element of RNG that goes into catching the Pokemon that we absolutely need to have in order to traverse our way around the region, and it just makes things a little bit fairer for all the Pokemon. Let's now go into Union Cave and we'll pick up Swift. And so with Swift acquired, we will use our menuing to get out of here to also teach Swift to our Dragonite. We'll get rid of Rap. Rap is a terrible move, so it's good to have it off the learn set. We will escape rope out of here. We will then try and dodge Hiker Anthony. We'll go into the Slowpoke well, and it'll be time for Bugsy. Now, after missing what felt like every single range between here and Slowpoke well, we are now ready to take on Bugsy. That was a lot slower than I was hoping, just because we kept low rolling on every single Pokemon. Bugsy did lead with the 2 Cocoon Pokemon, but they went away straight away, and he's getting to Fury Cuttering, but it is no hope for him as we low roll again to add an extra turn to the battle. Hive Badge in 9 minutes and 33 seconds. Now we are out of Swifts, but I think we're going to go straight into Rival 2. We do have Twister, and that should be absolutely fine. We weren't able to Swift on the Ghastly anyway. Lick has paralysed us though, that is incredibly frustrating. We're just going to have to rely on our bulk here, but it might not go our way. I might have shot ourselves in the foot by accident here. Goodness me, we are locked so badly. We'll take a reset. That was a little bit of overconfidence there, unnecessary reset. I'm very annoyed though at how badly we got stun locks. That was just RNG not working in our favour. Seems to be the theme of this one. Second attempt's going much better though. This should be the only tricky battle for quite some time. Let us get through the Croconaw, and we will get redemption later on against Rival 3. 10:38 for Rival 2. And of course, in Ilex Forest, we're going to pick up Cut. We'll have the Repel wear off just in front of the tree. We'll teach Cut to our Paris. We'll stick a Repel on. We'll chop down the tree. And we're going to get one of the best moves in the game now. We're about to get Headbutt. Headbutt is one of my favourite moves. 30% chance to flinch, 70 base power early on in game. It's absolutely wonderful. So let us teach it straight away to our Dragonite. Hopefully my menuing improves as well throughout the course of this challenge. We'll get rid of Leah, we're never going to use it anyway. We'll grab our 2 Ethers, and then it'll be time to think about picking up Abra on the outside of the forest. So pausing at 11:42. We'll run down these Repel steps. I did step into the grass, so I'm going to use this sign to reset the encounters. And we will force our Abra. As with all the HM friends, guaranteed encounter, guaranteed capture. And that's HM friends done for another team. Let's get ourselves into Goldenrod. Now, I was thinking there after Rival 2 how much RNG actually goes on in the early game. Because we took about 11 HP worth of damage on our second attempt, and we got through incredibly easily. And that could have been our first attempt as well. It's just the RNG went against us. We lost both of the coin flips. The one for Lick paralysing us, and then we lost the Supersonic hitting us. And then we actually lost a bunch of RNG against that Zubat using Bite. So it does just show, even though you can be overconfident, you can play really, really aggressively, sometimes there's nothing you can do if you want to try and get those really fast times. Now I am going to take on a couple of extra optionals on the way up to Whitney, just because I want some money for the punches. I think taking on the optionals is going to be better than coming back when we have a little bit more money, especially when we can just flinch everything in our path. And now we are through last carry. That does mean it is time for Whitney. She is our third gym leader together, a normal type specialist who leads with Clefairy. Clefairy's metronomed extreme speed. That could have been extremely dangerous had she metronomed something a little bit worse. Was speed tied with a Miltank. Oh dear, that could have been bad, but we just about scraped through, goodness me. Grow to level 22 against Whitney as well. If we'd have lost that coin toss at the end there, it would have been curtains for us. We do obtain the playing badge though in a time of 15 minutes and 54 seconds. Let's leave here, let's chat with Floria, and then we'll go into the department store. We'll pick up some punches, and we will do fast, safe air critique. First thing we need to do is a quick heal here, restore all of our power points, and then we'll go up to the 5th floor of the department store. We'll pick up a couple of punches. And now with the punches acquired and Rock Smash acquired for our Paris, we can make our way into Air Critique City. We are going to take on this Drowsy though. It should be a one-shot with Headbutt. And then we're going to go straight into Olivine. We'll ascend the lighthouse, we'll pick up strength as well, and then we'll think about Rival 3. And now at the tippy top of the lighthouse, we'll have a little chat with Jasmine. She's going to ask us to get the secret potion, we will oblige, of course. We'll dig out of the lighthouse, we'll do a little heal here in Olivine, and we'll start cycling back to Ecruteak. And our first destination in Ecruteak is going to be the Dance Theatre. We will take care of all of the evolutions right here, right now, as we grow to level 25, because I want to try and get as many levels as possible before taking on Morty. I think as well we might actually teach Surf to our Dragonite. It's a very strong move, and even though our physical attack is definitely our better attacking stat, 100 in special attack is still perfectly cromulent. Our Miltank's main attacking stat in the last challenge was its physical attack, and that was well under 100. So having 134 in physical attack is fantastic, but 100 in special attack is just as good for our purposes. Let's pick up our HMO3 now, and we will teach Surf and Strength, both actually, to Psyduck and Dragonite. We'll do the both of them, because I don't think we'll be needing to flinch anything for the near future, so let's teach them to Psyduck first and foremost. We will get rid of Twister in place of Surf, and then we'll have Strength on the learn set at least until the end of the Rocket section or thereabouts. Let's now get into the Burnt Tower though, and we will take on the third rival battle. Hopefully we'll get redemption as well. Last time it was a little bit tougher than it should have been. He leads with Haunter, and we will Surf against the Haunter as it swears at us. Up second is Dragonite. We'll Surf Magnemite rather. We'll Surf against that. We'll Surf against the Zubat as well. And then we'll use a Thunder Punch against the Croconaw. Bite does next to nothing. That's a much better rival battle. And now that we're through all of the Ghastly trainers, it's time to take on Morty. He is our fourth gym leader together. He is a dual Ghost and Poison type specialist who leads with Ghastly. Ghastly goes down in one. The first Haunter gets ranged. That really is the story of this run so far. We make up for it though by critical hitting the Gengar, and that will just leave Haunter number 2. Nightshade doesn't do much at all, and we defeat Morty to obtain the Fog Badge in 23 minutes and 49 seconds. I'm now going to start heading towards the Lake of Rage. We're not running Hidden Power, but I want to pick up that candy, and I do also want to take on the Nido trainers once more. So I tell you what, let's meet back up after I've taken out the Nidos and we'll pick up the rare candy. All the Nidos are down. That has taken us up to level 30, and we've got plenty of Repel steps remaining to go and grab the bits here at the Lake of Rage. We'll also pick up this full restore. Really handy to have, especially for the executive at the tippy top of the radio tower. He has a nasty habit of poisoning you if you're not able to one-shot him. So it's very nice to have. It saves the Pokemon Center heal, it saves faffing about. And if we don't use it, we can always then keep it for the Pokemon League. We will now teleport back to Olivine City though, and we're going to take a trip across the open seas, or pay a little visit to Chuck. And now that we are through all of the gym trainers, that means we can take on Chuck. He is our 5th gym leader together. He is a fighting type specialist who leads with Primeape. Primeape has got a Leer off on us, that shouldn't mean too much in the end. We'll go to Thunder Punch for the Poliwrath. It sends us to sleep, but we were holding the Mince Berry, and we finally get a range in our favour. Thunder Punch did just the trick to get us the Chuck badge, the Storm badge, in 27 minutes exactly. And with that we can get Fly. I can do a little bit of housekeeping, and now while we're doing the housekeeping, I'm not sure if it's just me, but sometimes it feels like a Pokemon works with you, and you get some really, really good stuff happening, some really impressive stuff happening. This Dragonite, it feels like it's on Lance's side. It feels like it is pulling against me at every opportunity to try and make this run as tricky as it could be. So hopefully we'll be able to come to some sort of agreement with our Dragonite throughout the course of the run, and by the end of the run we will be very much in good stead and working together instead of working against each other like we are at the moment. We'll have to see though. Here at the Lake of Rage, we are going to use our Repel Steps to get rid of this Gyarados. Once again, a range. We are still fighting with our Dragonite as we pick up the red scale. We're going to chat with Lance, but we're going to backtrack now to Olivine, and we're going to take on Jasmine next. At the tippy top of the lighthouse, we'll have a little chat with Jasmine. She's going to lie to us, as she always does, about giving that secret potion to Amphi. We'll dig out of here, and we will cycle into her gym and take her on. This is Jasmine, our 6th gym leader together. She's a Steel-type specialist who leads with Magnemite. We've got Fire Punch for the Magnemite, it will take it down in one shot. We will then use Fire Punch against the Steelix to try and avoid the healing loop, and that's exactly what happens. We'll finish it off with Surf. We will finish off her last Magnemite with a Fire Punch as well, and that's Jasmine defeated in 29-23. I've got a bunch of rockets to beat up now. I'm not going to make you sit through it. Instead, we'll skip to Price. And now this is Price. Price is our 7th gym leader together, an Ice-type specialist, so he has the 4 times advantage over us, and he leads with Seal. Seal goes down in one shot. Let's move on to the Dugong. Aurora Beam hits like an absolute truck, and he's swapped to Piloswine. That's fine for us, and we've missed yet another range. For goodness sake, Dragonite, get your act together. You are being incredibly pesky. We're going to have to just use the same strategy, and hopefully this time we will get the range. And then we can finish off the Dugong. There we go, Dragonite. That's what we wanted. That was another unnecessary reset. The first one was on me, the second one was on this Dragonite. We've got 7 badges now though, we're going to go through the ice path. Hopefully Dragonite won't cower too much in terror going through it, and we will meet back up for Rival 4. And with half of the rockets defeated, it is now time for Rival 4. This time he's going to lead with Golbat. We'll use Thunder Punch against the Golbat, and we knock it out in one. Up next is Magnemite. We'll use Fire Punch, guarantee the KO as we grow up to level 39. We'll use Surf against the Haunter to take it out in one shot, and that brings us on to Sneasel. A Fire Punch is perfect for the Sneasel. And then we have Feraligatr left to go. I don't think Thunder Punch will one-shot, so we'll just use a pair of returns, and we get through Rival 4 in just shy of 40 minutes. Let's now move on to Blackthorn City, where it's time for Claire. So let's now take on Claire. She is our final Johtonian gym leader, a Dragon-type specialist much like us, and she leads with Dragonair. Oh dear, Return is not a one-shot. I genuinely thought Return would have been a one-shot at this point in the challenge. Maybe another range that we missed, you know. We will use Ice Punch instead, and then we'll return the Kingdra. We critical hit. That is more like it, Dragonites. You missed a range, but then you made up for it. We are through Claire. Let's race the Dragon's Den to get the badge. And after answering the brief survey from the owner of the Dragon's Den, Claire comes into the den herself, and she's going to give us the next badge. Time of 45:48 for the Rising badge. With all 8 Johto badges acquired, we can start heading towards the Pokémon League. And now, just before we take on the League, we are going to have to defeat the rival for one final time. This time he's going to lead with Sneasel. We'll start with a return, take care of it in one shot. We'll Ice Punch the Golbat, make sure it goes down straight away. And then we'll Fire Punch the Magneton. Up next is going to be Haunter. We'll swap to Surf. We'll use one of each move to get us started here. And then we'll go back to Return for the Kadabra. And then we will have to break the pattern for the Feraligatr, because Ice Punch isn't going to be great for it. Slash does next to nothing. We'll knock it out in 2 shots. And that is the rival taken care of for another challenge. 49 minutes through Rival 5. Let's take a cheeky little heal. We will also pick up our full restores for the Elite Four, and we can start thinking about taking them on. Our first Elite Four member is going to be Will. Now, Will is a Psychic-type specialist who's going to lead with Xatu. So we will use Ice Punch against Xatu, knock it out in a single hit, and he sends out Jinx next. We've got a return for the Jinx, so we'll return her back to sender, and then we'll use a couple of returns against Slowbro. He went for Amnesia, that's the move we wanted to see. We'll Ice Punch this second to last Xatu, well, this last Xatu, and then we will Ice Punch the Executor as well. Yet again, another range we missed. Level 48 acquired though, well done in 49.46. Let's move on to Koga. Koga is a poison type specialist who's going to lead with Ariados. We'll use a return against the Ariados, and we will then swap to Fire Punch for the Fortress. Fortress goes down in one shot, that will bring us nicely onto Muck. It's going to be a pair of returns against the Muck as long as we hit through the Minimise. And then we've got options for the Crobat. We're going to try and avoid the healing loop, but he has Toxic us. That's not great. We hit through the Toxic though. That means we can swap to return for this last Venomoth. We'll knock it out in one, and that's Koga defeated. Let us very quickly use our antidote, and we'll move on to Bruno. He is a fighting type specialist who's going to lead with Hitmontop. Now, I don't think we're going to one-shot the Hitmontop, but he can't go underground, so he's going to go for Quick Attack instead. That's perfect for us. Up next is Onix. We have Ice Punch for the Onix. We'll knock it out in one, and then we'll use Return against the Hitmonchan. I think we high-rolled there for once in our lives. Let's use Return against this Machamp. Rock Slide's going to hit, but it doesn't really matter too much. And then we can finish off the Hitmonlee. Bruno done. 51 minutes and 9 seconds. Up next is going to be Karen. So the prep work for Karen is done. She is a Dark type specialist who's going to lead with Umbreon. Let's see what happens against this Umbreon. We've been sand attacked. That's not great. Hopefully it won't matter too much in the long run. We've been cursed by the Gengar, but we do outspeed, so no Destiny Bond there. We'll swap back to return for the Murkrow. We'll knock it out in one. And then we have Houndoom. Ooh, choice between return and surf. We'll go for return. And we've been bloody roared. What that means is we pause the timer and we rewind. She never goes for roar, and now we've been roared every single time. It's a range the entire time, potentially. We'll go to Ice Punch the Vileplume. Once again, low rolling. We could get knocked out here, you know. In fact, I think we will get knocked out. Bloody hell, Dragonite. You are the worst. I genuinely do not like this Pokemon. Genuinely, I am not liking this Pokemon at all. I think there's a reason Lance has kept hold of it this entire bloody time. It's no good. It's just letting us down at every opportunity. Are we going to have to do the Raw Shuffle? There we go. Get your act together, Dragonite, for once in your bloody life. There we go. We're through, Karen. I'm going to pause the timer, I'm going to get myself reframed, and we'll take on Lance. So this is Lance. He is the liar with the flies. He's got 3 Dragonites, so I instantly dislike him. He leads with Gyarados. Gyarados is going to use Rain Dance. That's absolutely fine. And we will move on to Aerodactyl next. Wasn't expecting that. Rock Slide does a fair amount of damage, but that's fine. Dragonite comes out to play. We're going to Ice Punch it, and I'm going to get so much satisfaction seeing Dragonite go down. I think this has sparked something inside me to dislike Dragonite even more than I already did. We get rid of the Charizard. Here comes the last Dragonite. I will take great pleasure in knocking it out with Ice Punch. We throw the middle finger at Lance. We get through him in 53.47. Let's get our final Hall of Fame time for this absolutely abysmal Pokemon. I'm exaggerating, of course. It's not a bad Pokemon, it's just not getting the luck it needs. 54.03 through the Hall of Fame. Let's see where that puts us on the midpoint leaderboard. And for our Unbound challenge, we are in 5th place, in between Feraligatr and Miltank. Overall, we are in 23rd place so far. That is not terrible, all things considered, but it's only half of the story. There's another 8 gym badges plus the red fight left to come, so don't you dare go anywhere, because Kanto is next. And we are rejoining the action as we always do here in Vermilion City, where the first thing we're going to do is grab a rare candy from the chairman of the Pokemon fan club. And with that safely tucked away in our bag for another challenge, we are about to start our Cantonian gauntlet of gym leaders. So we're going to start here in Vermilion City with Lieutenant Surge. We will then make our way to Celadon City with Erica. We'll go down to Fuchsia for Janine, back to Saffron for Sabrina, up to Cerulean for Misty, across to Pewter for Brock. We'll go down to Seafoam Islands for Blaine, and then we'll finish off in Viridian City with the blue fight. And talking of the blue fight, if you do want to skip ahead to it, it's going to be happening at around about 27 minutes and 43 seconds. For everybody else, we'll now sit back, relax, and have our standard Kantonian chat. And in this one, I want to talk about some of the self-improvement I've done during the time away with the challenge runs. During my time away, I have learnt both Flashless Rock Tunnel and Flashless Silver Cave. Those are two things that I never thought I would be able to do, especially Rock Tunnel because it's across multiple rooms. However, I realised that one of the big things that was holding my times back was still doing Sprout Tower every single challenge run without fail. And that really did start to impact my own potential with challenge running. And now, it wasn't an easy thing to learn. It took many, many hours of practice, both for Rock Tunnel and Silver Cave. And I came up with a little bit of a cheat sheet to show on the side of my OBS as I'm doing the challenge runs, which I can just very quickly flick to, so that I can at least have some semblance of having my bearings about me when I'm going through both Rock Tunnel and Silver Cave. But that just shows just how confident I have become doing the challenge runs over the last 3 years. If you'd have spoken to me in August 2022 and said you would be doing the runs without ever picking up Flash, without doing a lot of your current safety strats, I would have never believed you. And now learning Flashless has actually inspired me to start really analysing my routing throughout the course of the challenge runs, and I am looking for any little bits where I can now save even just a couple of seconds here and there, because I really want to start becoming one of the top elite tier Gen 2 challenge runners. I know I've got the potential to do it, it's just going to take a lot of confidence. Obviously my runs are always going to be slower than other people like Snowy, just because they optimise their runs really to within an inch of their lives, and that's not what my aim for my runs is all about. But I still want to see my average run time drop quite significantly between now and the end of the year. I have done a little bit of number crunching, and the beginning of our channel together, the average run was around about 1 hour and 40 to 1 hour and 45 minutes. That is now dropping and dropping and dropping, and I believe our average run time at the moment is around about 1 hour and 25 minutes. So if I can drop that even further to get down to the 120, maybe even the high 1-teens, I will be very, very happy. But we are out of time for this Kanto chat, so let's get back to the live run. And we have made it to Blue for another challenge. He is our final gym leader of the challenge, and he leads with Pidgeot. We've got Thunderbolt for Pidgeot, we'll knock it out in a single hit, and then we'll move on to Rhydon. We'll use Nice Punch against the Rhydon, take care of it in a single hit as well. And up third is Gyarados. We've got Thunderbolt for Gyarados, so that's going to go down straight away. And then we can use Return against the Alakazam. Alakazam, of course, having no defense, it goes down before it has a chance to do anything. Arcanine is using Extreme Speed. Again, we bloomin' low-rolled. I reckon this can one-shot. Maybe not. We will just have to Healing Loop him instead. Maybe that wasn't a one-shot after all. The last Pokemon is going to be Exeggutor. He's probably going to... No, he doesn't Leech Seed. He Egg Bombs. How useless for him. That's Blue defeated, 107-21 for all the badges. That means we can start thinking about Red. Now, in preparation for Red, we're going to say goodbye to Surf. It served us well, but it is now surplus to requirements. And in its place, we are going to teach good old Ice Beam. And then we're also going to change a couple of moves as well. Also, apologies if you can hear the rain outside. We are currently in quite a bad storm here in the United Kingdom, so hopefully it's not affecting the audio too much. We have now done our preparation, I think, for Red. Let's check we've used a Max Elixir. And let's get back to Silver Cave, and we'll take him on. And so this is Red. He is our final trainer of the challenge, and he leads with Pikachu. We outspeed the Pikachu, thank goodness, and we can knock it out in one shot. That brings us on to Blastoise. Blizzard had missed. That is a great start here. So he sends out Espeon next. Espeon goes for Psychic instead of going for Reflect. I'm not going to complain at that too much, although it does mean we're at fairly low HP now for the Snorlax. We're going to use a Dynamic Punch and hope that we land at least one of them. That's going to do a lot of damage against the Snorlax, and it hits itself in confusion. That gives us a really good opportunity, you know, to get through the rest of this battle. We'll use Thunderbolt against the Charizard. We don't paralyze, but we should survive another wing attack, and that is just going to leave Venusaur left to go. We'll use Ice Beam against the Venusaur. It takes in Sunlight. It's all over for Red now as we grow to level 67, and we defeat him in 1 hour, 10 minutes and 41 seconds. Let's look at the leaderboard. And for our Unbound challenge, we are in 4th place, in between Ursaring and Miltank, and then on the overall video leaderboard, we find ourselves in 18th place, just a couple of seconds quicker than Kangaskhan's Egg Move run, and just behind Ursaring's Redo. And now as the leaderboard for this challenge plays on in the background, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. If you've enjoyed this one, please do make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more videos just like this, click the subscribe button. If you want to support financially and get early access to all of our challenge runs, then please do explore our membership options. And until next time, when we're running Beware across the Crystal Unbound challenge, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'll see you all very soon.